In the studio is Sami, Al-Arian, Director of the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul's Sabahattin Zaim University. We were talking at this time yesterday. Did you expect this to happen so soon? Because many people have thought it's going to come at some stage.
I think most people did not expect it to come that soon. Certainly Trump and Netanyahu and others have used deceptions in order to make sure that they can get it the way they did.
Yeah, because when we spoke yesterday, you were talking, is it just a coincidence, the timing, that the IAEA finds that Iran is not complying with its non-proliferation commitments, and then we have this attack? And many in Iran are saying in senior positions that actually this is also the IAEA's fault.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like a pretext. It was used in order to say that Iran is not in compliance with the NPT, even though Israel is not even a party to the NPT, let alone, trying to enforce something. But I think this has been long and coming. I think Trump and his cabinet, as well as his national security advisors, have been trying to push Iran in a situation. Either it surrenders through the negotiations, or it's going to face what they have faced today. It's very easy to have the first bullet, but it's not easy to be the last bullet. I think Iran right now is in the position in which its back is to the wall, and they would have to fight, and they have to respond to this. Otherwise, they would be finished in the region.
Do you think the Islamic Republic is strong enough to withstand concerted and prolonged pressure of this nature? Because it does seem that the alliance between Washington and Tel Aviv, as it is right now, is intent on doing something that possibly hasn't been attempted before, to try to bring the regime down with external pressure, allied to possibly stoking up the internal discontent.
They have. It's not the first time.
But it seems a bit more concerted, doesn't
it? But let's remember, there's something called shock and awe that was targeted on Iraq back in 2003. It was 10 times as intense as what we've seen today. And who had to withdraw? Who had to leave? It wasn't the Iraqi resistance. It was the United States, because it had put over $6 trillion into this endeavor, and it lost. And today also we could see that despite the intensity of the attacks, Iran is still going to respond. It's going to have its own timing, and I believe it's going to have its own response. It does have the capability to have a longer war of attrition against Israel. Israel is trying to say that we can bring Iran to its knees within days or weeks. I don't believe that is the case. As I said, they can start the first bullet, but they can't have the last one. And I think with what happened today, Iran will have to respond, and respond strongly. It can't, because otherwise it will be finished in the region.
Is there, or has Israel already overstretched its own capabilities? When we look at the different locations, and we just listed them, at least 3 or 4 different countries, different groups, or even governments, like in Iran, are being attacked by Israel. There are 2 kind of questions here, Sami. Can Israel continue with this policy? And is it something that Benjamin Netanyahu has realized, that with the start of the war, Israel's war on Gaza, it's his once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape the entire security structure of that region?
I think that's what he has in mind. I think after October 7th, the Israeli military doctrine has changed. And now they are going after countries not on the basis of intention, but also in the basis of capabilities. And this is unprecedented in the history of the conflict, where they're going to go that far, but they have. And because they went that far, there are also vulnerabilities. Israel cannot also sustain this kind of an effort for long. At the end of the day, it would have to stop. What Israel seeks here is total hegemony. Is it going to reach that hegemony? In other words, it will have to dictate to every regime in the region, and therefore every other country would have to subject to Israel's wishes. I doubt that very much, that it can succeed over the long term, because, as I said, there are over 500-600 million people here. Will they all be under the thumb of the Israelis and the Americans? But they think Iran is the key to this hegemony. If they can bring Iran to its heels, then they can also bring all the resistance movements and others. Many of the regimes already have submitted to Israel. So we're looking at probably the final chapter, and I think the end of this chapter, we will know the future of this region for the next 20 years. Whether Israel will have a total hegemony over the whole region, or whether Israel will be checked by this aggression.
What about the American role here? So we had Joe Biden, previous president, who allowed Israel to do almost anything that it wanted to do during his presidency. And now we have Donald Trump, who on his recent trip to the Middle East didn't even bother to go to Israel. Is he in a position that actually there's no choice for him, even if he disagrees with Israel's military policies, because of the long-standing alliance and because of what Israel means to America in the longer term, that Trump almost has to say, I don't like it, but if you're going to do it, you're going to do it?
Israel could not have pulled off this attack without America's complicity, America's support, participation, and Trump's green light. So I think what we've been witnessing was one of the deceptive moves by Trump and Netanyahu, having saying that there is some kind of a disagreement. I don't believe that is the case now. After what happened today, I think what Trump was trying to do is to get Iran to surrender through political negotiations, and when they didn't surrender their right to enrichment, then he allowed Netanyahu to have this. And I think they would allow this to go on for a while. Now the question here, whether Iran is capable of withstanding this military pressure and responding and not surrendering. And when that happens, then they would be out of tactics to how you're going to bring Iran to its knees. And I think that's when they will realize that they would have to change policies.
I'm being told that we've run out of time, but I'm going to ask you one more. If there were, Sami, to be an all-out war between Israel and Iran, would Iran possibly even cease to exist in terms of the different strengths of their militaries? I know Iran's military is huge. Its budget is actually bigger for its military than Israel's. But the fact is that many believe that Israeli warplanes and missiles are more powerful and more capable than Iran's.
There can't be an all-out war because there is no ground.
Correct, but if it was an aerial...
If there was an aerial bombardment, Iran has many strategies and many scenarios. They can obviously bring the economy of the world to a standstill, closing the Hormuz Strait and also the oil facilities and so on and so forth. I don't think they will go that far. You have over 60 American bases also. So to go an all-out war in which the United States becomes a party to this, that's going to have a huge implication. Also, you have Russia and China. They will not allow Iran also, which is their partner, to be defeated. So there will have to be some kind of a resolution at the end. And if Iran still stands, then Israel's power and hegemony will be checked. So we're coming into, as I said, some very intense few weeks ahead of us. And then we will see if Iran can withstand the pressure and really have a painful response as they have promised.
Thank you so much for coming in, Sami. Really, it's instructive for all of us to hear that analysis.